want that section to rupture open, then you wouldn't want them to just fix the wall as good as new. Because I will say that the other reason I don't think this metal's ripping is because I've completely turned the corner on my man Reg's fence. That fence is holding up like it's not even buckling.
No, it didn't really even buckle much when the truck hit it.
It's standing straight and tall. Those zombies 20, it could be 40 deep, and I don't think this wall's stressing. This is what this wall was built to withstand, and it's doing an admirable job.
Good job, Reg.
And the other thing is, like, with this tunnel discovery, I'm not even that worried about them starving in there, because it's even very clear you could get a commando team to clear out that 5 or 6 zombies, get out. Maybe some zombies follow you. You'll lose them. You go loot and scavenge, and you come back. Like, you've essentially got a back door that the zombies don't know about, and they can't get barley equals intellect, much less this drain pipe opens up into all these brains. So, I don't know. It feels like this is a pretty good siege location.
Yeah, maybe Aaron should tell somebody about it.
Yeah,
other than Maggie. So before we get into feedback, we have a sponsor to talk about this week. It's a sponsor you're probably familiar with, and I'm very familiar with. I've been using their products for a long time now. That is Harry's. Harry's.com.
The online razor company.
Yeah.
The online razor company is sponsoring a podcast in November, the month of Movember.
Sure.
Where everybody is going crazy, growing out their mustaches and beards and not shaving. They think that's a smart thing to do. That surprises me.
In fact, they're not just sponsoring with podcasts. They've officially partnered with the Movember Foundation, who's making donations. Yeah,
I hear keep your friends closer, your enemies closer, but this seems like madness.
I think it's kind of cool. I think, if you've got a month where people aren't going to be shaving,
so we should explain this, because I'm not sure if this is an international thing or if this is just like...
Yeah, what is Movember?
So Movember is a month like, October's breast cancer awareness. Movember is growing out your beard and your mustache to raise awareness for men's issues.
Yeah,
and there's
men's health issues.
Men's health issues like, depression, suicide, prostate cancer.
Shaving.
You
gotta shave. It's a health issue.
You do. So it's like, I guess that's big of them. They're supporting... they have a product that's marketed towards men, and they're raising awareness for men-centric health issues. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Embracing the change instead of fighting it. Yeah,
I thought it was kind of a cool little twist on the thing. And, I've been using them for a while, and I just upgraded to their Truman set, which is like I figured, you know what, I'm buying shaving creams and stuff from them anyway. My handle's getting a little gunky, kind of gross looking, so I figured I'd upgrade after like a year.
So is it just a better handle?
Yeah,
interesting.
It's a nice handle. They've got a kit that's like $15, and if you use our code, which is Bald Move, when you check out, you get $5 off that. So it's only $10 to get razor, some blades, some shaving cream, some lotions. It's a pretty good deal.
Does the Truman set drop the bomb on your face, just blasting the stubble?
It does. There's no hair can hide from it. It's
the ultimate. It's the way to end the war on your face.
Indeed. So I, decided to pick that up. If you want to get your own Truman set, or really anything over at Harry's, you can go over to harrys.com right now, and you can get $5 off as a special offer for our fans. If you use the code BALDMOVE, and that's Harry's, HARRYS.com. Just use the code BALDMOVE, and you get $5 off whatever you purchase there.
Good Christmas gift.
Absolutely.
You've got a weirdo like your dad or Jim Jones that you don't know what to buy for,
sure.
And you know that
monstrous human being with no
emotions. Except for the month of November, you see them rocking no beard, and it's a safe gift.
A card's not going to cut it, man.
Nah. You know what will cut it? The beard, the hair, not your face hair, but your beard, but not your face, but your face hair will definitely cut your face hair.
Yeah.
Well, we'll cut the mustard
without
as far
cutting
as
your face.
It's a safety razor. It's impossible to cut your face.
It's good quality.
You'd have to try really hard. You have to be an idiot, and even then, it's hard. Harry's razors, they'll cut the Christmas gift mustard.
That's right. It's HARRYS.com. Use code BALDMOVE. Save $5.
What should we do now? Should we consider feedback?
Yeah, let's go into feedback.
If you'd like to send us feedback, you can do so watchingdead@baldmove.com or on forums.baldmove.com, or there's also Facebook and Twitter, but
I don't consider that feedback. I only take emails.
That's just you firing across their bow. Firing a warning shot.
Yeah, you're not gonna get on the show without an email.
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, there's the email flies from such, it's like a fire hose already that like you don't want the Dixie cups and the 5-gallon buckets even.
It's just insult to injury.
Yeah. So
yeah, so I had to make brutal butcher's cleaver type cuts.
You had to rip a couple slimy rib cages off of this thing?
Yeah, and the ones that I did read, I had to cut down, you get
to that stage.
Most of their verbiage. They get a little verbose, our listeners.
Why would they?
Right? A 2-hour
why would they?
show
As
every
we're
week.
clocking an hour 7 on the damn recap of a 45-minute. Why would they do that, Jim?
I don't know.
Did they learn it from watching us?
I think so. All right, let's start off with Elaine T. She says, I don't watch The Walking Dead right away on Sundays and have the DVR set to record the show and Talking Dead right after. My DVR thinks 2 shows are recording at once, so the TV automatically switches to AMC right when Talking Dead starts, and if Hardwick started talking about the show right away, it would always be spoiled. I very much appreciate Hardwick doing the spoiler warning. It gives me time to grab the remote, mute the TV, and get the channel changed.
Fair enough.
That sounds like a complaint for your cable provider.
But no, that
your cable box is fucking up.
That's the way it would work. Like if you're recording,
but not if you're recording back to back stuff.
But let's say here's the thing. So she's recording. Let's say she's already recording one thing on 9:00, and she's happily watching her other show. But then at 10:00, she's got 2 things recorded. But she's still watching her other show. If the recorder's like mine, it can only record those 2 things. So it's like, y'all channel switching now unless you want, and it just automatically switches channels.
All right.
But so yeah, I agree that I feel like that they're, instead of doing that, it should pop up, do you want to change the channel? And if you positively say, like, I don't know. It's so hard you're fucking over somebody no matter what usage case you choose.
It's true.
This guy walks up and goes to use the bathroom, and he got a screen that says, do you want to continue the recording? You didn't say anything, so I'm not going to do it. And he missed the first 5 minutes of his show because his bladder was bursting. He's going to be mad. I think they're doing as good a job as they can.
All right, Bradley asks.
God, I'm defending Time Warner and Comcast.
You've lost your mind.
I've got the devil. Is
and
who
Chris
I'm
Hardwick at
now.
the same time.
And Chris Hardwick. You can't get worse
All
than
of
that.
it. Bradley
Ask
asks,
me about Hitler, Pol Pot.
Bradley S. says, I'm looking at this giant herd of walkers, and I'm thinking, why are we staring at it? Could we use some of the rations to make some Molotovs and flush the crowd out through fire? Why are they just staring at the goddamn things? There is no reason for this behavior other than to create artificial drama. A good episode, but I'm tired of the lack of practicality. The wall is falling apart. Do something. Yeah, no, I don't know why. They did this at the fucking prison. They knew what to do. They started stabbing walkers in the fucking head.
Well, they had to because the fence would be pushed down.
That's exactly what's happening.
But
here.
I can think of
we have to because we're stuck in this town with no food.
You got rebar, right? You tie a rope around a rebar. You throw the rebar as a spear, and maybe 1 time out of 4 you're going to hit a zombie in the head.
But it's unlimited ammo.
And then you pull it back and you keep doing that. Like, what else are you going to do?
And you've got 40 people in this town? I don't know. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
You could certainly start clearing some walkers, even if it takes a while. It's better than doing nothing.
Like, you keep the gate clear.
Sure.
You keep or build up a wall of dead zombies that someone could. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, seems like there are solutions to this problem that they don't care to think about. Jasmine from Chicago, can we just talk about that freaking slap fight that Carl and Ron had? Carl, you've been on the outside for a long time. I know you know how to fight. What was that? If you wanted to take that kid down, why didn't you?
I don't know that he wanted to punch Ron.
Yeah, that's one thing. I also don't know that Carl is a super badass, as Dan B chimes in with. He says the thing about Carl, he is a badass because he's been hardened by the things he's seen. But without a gun, Carl's badassness is greatly diminished. He's still just a kid. They touched on this a little bit after the prison when Rick was in his mini coma and Carl tried to man up, which ultimately led to him getting almost eaten by walkers on a couple of occasions and losing his shoe in the process. Mm-hmm. I was kind of looking forward to Carl getting his ass kicked by Ron. As much as I hate Ron, it would have been another good way to show that Carl still has some growing up to do and isn't at the same level as Rick, Daryl, Michonne, etc.
Well, all that
obviously
said,
he's not, but
I would have been livid if Carl had gotten beat by Ron.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with the thing about him being a badass with a gun.
I know, I agree that. Like, I don't think he's like a MMA fighter. And like even his dad, as a cop, I imagine you get in a lot of scuffles, even if they're just with drunk people or whatever. But and we've seen him get in some, big fights with people. Whereas Carl's always been the knifey knife, shooty shoot kind of guy. So yeah, I agree. Having said that, I thought him and Ron are evenly matched, and the edge should go to Carl because he's just harder.
Yeah,
he just is.
There's a good chance that Ron's never even been in a fight.
I'm going back on. I wish Carl had punched him.
All right. Kevin, I had to really butcher this email to get it down to something that I could read. So sorry if I butcher your points. And he says he wasn't a horror person or a Walking Dead comic reader before checking the show out.
Right.
So weigh that in.
I see you. I see you over there.
I feel like one of the biggest problems with the whole Glenn thing and a lot of the dumb Kirkman fake outs and remixes is the people behind the show have completely bought into the way the last 5 years have changed how we consume media and entertainment. I think dudes like you guys and me are used to consuming and critiquing televisions as a weekly serial program because for the majority of our lives, it's the only framework we had to work with. It's my feeling that a show should excel in that format, regardless of current technological / viewing habit environment. There's a lot more here, but it's kind of just belaboring the point. I don't know that I totally agree that they should have to do that. Like, I'm curious what the numbers are for like Netflix viewing. Like, how many people watch this on Netflix versus TV? I'm sure TV is higher.
I think that when Gimple and Kirkman advance that's a weak point. It'd be like if we were like video podcasts are the wave of the future, so we're going to hold up signs and do charades, and because that's the next level, and that's what people are going to. You're not serving your prime audience. You're punishing the people that are your most passionate fans that are getting you the ratings that are enabling you to grow this thing. For theoretical future fans' enjoyment, it's dumb. It's just they've heard other smarter people than them say that, and they're saying, "Oh yes, that's the criticism. This all makes sense on a rewatch." It's dumb.
I think a lot of it is the stuff around the Talking Dead, kind of filling out and being there, and Glenn, like this stuff with Glenn, where they've got to give these big statements about Glenn and try and cast doubt on whether Glenn's alive or not. That stuff, I feel like, is a product of the internet, right? Like, we've got a hype machine and a marketing machine that has to be fed.
Yes.
And the only way we can do that is with ambiguous tweets and people coming on shows that shouldn't even exist in a world where the TV show holds up on its own. I feel like his point about us being kind of an audience that is out of touch with the current realities of the media landscape is kind of on point. Like, I don't think that you can say, okay, television is in a vacuum of just the hour that it's on the air. And ignore the part where they want to spin the hype up as much as they can, and they use the internet and other outlets to do that. You're
essentially, it's kind of the same, like people say, we hate negative attack political ads. But
they work.
They work. They absolutely work. And I guess the more well-informed you are, the more it's obnoxious. But it must be there's people that are like, oh, my God, that guy killed children. We ran him over with a fire truck. I can't vote for him. And like that's what they remember
and I know there
into
are.
the polls.
I mean, I look at the tweets that come across, and I see people who are just losing their shit and love fanatically the show.
Yeah.
Think it's the best thing they've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's due to the hype. That's due to them maybe not being experienced with television. I don't know.
But I mean,
don't know what their background is.
The thing is like it makes you and I go crazy too. It's
in a different kind of way.
Yeah, and I feel like it is exactly like the negative political ads. The quote unquote clued in people love to bitch about them and get worked up and why are they doing and like feel superior when someone stoops to it first, and then the people that don't follow it just works on. And so The Walking Dead, you got people that genuinely enjoy this kind of melodrama, or maybe it's the first serious kind of drama they've watched, and it's blowing their mind, and I have to take those people seriously. But they're competing with with the show that I want to be. But you know what? I feel like I'm almost on the verge of losing that bias.
What bias?
Like I'm starting to appreciate The Walking Dead for just what it is.
So that was another point that Kevin makes there. Says basically as far as this last episode now, a better title would have been Monologue City or perhaps Meaningful Eye Contact. One thing I will give them is there's a handful of moments where I felt tense, unsure of whether or not something horrible was about to happen. That's all I really want from this show personally, is to feel like some shit is about to go down, and shit going down, of course.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like...
And I said that like a season ago, but I always fall into this fucking trap, especially when you got shows... When I'm so used to watching shows on HBO where the drama is accompanied by plots that make sense, and by details that work in the universe being properly laid out, and now I sit back and I go, Well, the thing that they're trying to do and the thing that they're presenting me with are two different things, and I don't know what to make of it.
Well,
and I can't just sit back and enjoy it because they want to be more, and it's fucking with me.
Well, it doesn't help that we were like, after episode 2, saying like, man, if they nail this next episode with the herd, and how can they not? How can they not?
Yeah.
This is going to be the greatest stretch, 3-episode stretch in Walking Dead history. It's not even debatable, right, Jim?
Yeah.
Like, it gets you in that, too, where it's like, oh, my God. Like, okay, some of this is shaky, but it's really working. It's really working. They got all the plates spinning. And then it's like, oh, now, hey, y'all, hold my beer, watch this. And the plates just go slamming.
Well, to his point, that the reason it worked so well is because it was action heavy. It was intense, and it was exciting, and those are the kind of things that we want to see, I think, from The Walking Dead, because it's doing nothing else really well. When it hits those notes, it does them really well, I think.
Yeah. And also because it's like these actors, they can so they take the action material, and you see really excellent actors that are capable of doing emoting, and they're doing action. It's like they're executing so far above what the level of what you're used to for kind of schlocky action stuff like that, so they really knock it out of the park. But then when they slow down for the heavy drama, and again, it isn't an actor's problem. The writing is not, it doesn't rise to their level, so they're left kind of this floundering stuff, and it's still really good. Like, again, I'm thinking if this is your first like serious drama that you're watching, that you got drug in from the zombies, it's like, man, look at what Lauren Cohen is doing here, and look at what Andrew Lincoln is doing, and like, it's just, just such quality, and there's so much nuance here. But you don't realize that, okay, well, this is the 5th time we've heard this speech in as many weeks. And also, this is the 6th year of the show, and we've heard it every season as a main point. Like,
yeah.
So, anyway.
All right, Alex D. says, what's the point of these drawn-out soap opera episodes? Do you think the writers can't come up with enough engaging material? Do you think they even know what's engaging? Do they really think this stuff is what we want to see? You'd think that a show with about the zombie apocalypse, you'd get better content. Or I'm wrong, and everyone really loves these gems. Jesse baking cookies for freaked out son. Angry teenagers wrestling over emo girl. Sad doctor constantly feeling sorry for herself.
Oh, come on now.
I know.
Come on now.
Drunk Spencer yelling at mom, and on and on and on. Why is it this bad, honestly? I mean, I think we covered a lot of that in the last email.
I've come to the conclusion that this is exactly the show. I thought that Gimple and Kirkman were aspiring to something that was just out of their reach. Yeah. I think they're making the show they want to make now. And it's not because of lack of skill or budget or anything. It's just this is the thing that they are dreaming about making, and they're making it happen. And there's a lot of people that love it. And I've learned to love it in my own way.
Okay. Dan says, so after watching the latest episode of The Walking Dead, I'm inclined to feel a little sympathy for Ron and a nice juicy facepalm for Rick. First off, the guy who killed Ron's dad is now banging his mom, and the son of said dad is banging Ron's girlfriend. I do think Ron is annoying, but after this episode, you can understand why.
Yeah. You're still a weasel shit, but I get you. That's some tough licks to take, brother.
Yeah. So as for the facepalm moment with Rick, it was when Ron, whose mom had previously told Rick her son hates him and doesn't want to look, listen, or even be near him, comes and asks for shooting practice. At this point, I feel like Rick should have just handed him a fully loaded gun and said, I'll stand over here and draw a bullseye on my head, and we'll see if you can hit the target. Which, in essence, is what he kind of did. If not drawing the bullseye on his own head, then certainly Carl's. So that's an interesting idea, and I think
he's wanting to be trained so he can stand up to Carl.
I think that's what he's getting at.
Okay, that trumps my I'm going to
go after Enid,
steal your dad, or go after
steal
Enid
your
thing.
dad.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wow, that's dark. But
or potentially go after Rick. One of the two.
Yep. Although, how much learning to shoot can you do with an empty gun?
They have bullets in the pantry. Or in the armory, I guess.
But I'm saying, like, holding an empty gun and squeezing one eye down and looking down the barrel and going pew pew.
He's played a lot of Call of Duty, man.
Is not really going to prepare you for the act of firing a gun, which, again, I think...
Especially when it's a 45 and it's going to knock this kid on his ass the first couple of times.
It's a 357, but 357, pretty much, okay, yeah. It's going to... But if he's within 10 feet...
Yeah.
And he's got the aim even closer right, it's probably going to hit. Yeah, it's probably going to hit.
Sure.
So, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like...
It's an interesting idea. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's a great theory.
Yeah. Naomi A. says, honestly, I thought this episode was a little boring. Getting annoyed with them dragging events way longer than they need to be. For example, half the herd started going towards Alexandria in episode 1 and only just reached it in episode 5. Now it's been 2 episodes since we last saw Glenn, and we still don't know if he's dead or alive. I'm over the suspense and wish they'd get to the point. The only significant thing that happened this week were Maggie saying she was pregnant and Tara Dr. Kiss. The rest was Maggie attempting to go after Glenn and then turning back, and Carl attempting to go after Enid and then turning back. I was just so annoyed in the episode before last when Daryl parted ways with Sasha and Abraham to help people in Alexandria only to return having accomplished nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of this, like, I'm going on a... Well, nah, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I've decided I'm not going on that mission.
But... I don't know, like Rick's relationship with Jesse changed. There was some interesting stuff with Deanna and her son. I mean, yes, you're right. You're in full-blown hater mode, and you're wondering what the futility of this show. Because, again, the whole backdrop on this is the fiasco that is Glenn hiding under the dumpster, which is on fire. Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest problem, and that's the one counterpoint to my theory of they know what they're doing the show they want, because
I think they
clearly
just
they saw the reaction of the people and got scared, and I think took to social media to try to mitigate it, but just make it worse.
Yeah,
although you could argue that they're just dyed-in-the-wool trolls, which if you've read any of Kirkman's mailbag on his comic book, sometimes he does get a little combative with critics and stuff. So maybe this is kind of like, well, you're losing your shit about Glenn being dead. We'll even throw more gas on this fire. Fuck you. But I don't know. Like, people that are confident in what they're doing, whether people love it or not, don't go to social media and put a whole bunch of just be patient and we'll get back to it. And just let your work stand, man.
Yeah, I can get behind that. One last note from Naomi here. She says they even manipulated last week's preview for this episode to make it look like something big was going to go down.
Right, I noticed
and then it was literally Jesse's big speech in front of a walker, a single walker.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep. And I noticed that they've done the little bit of like they're showing some past footage that they blend in with the previews for the next week.
Oh, really?
That makes it seem like I thought the preview for this week was really dishonest.
Well, that was future footage of a previously on for next episode.
I know. Sure.
All right. Jake says, just wanted to know how you guys feel about my take on the Rick and Ron scene. The way I saw it was Ron obviously did not have a good father figure. His dad beat him and his mom, and in that scene, a part of me felt like Ron was reaching out to Rick to fill that father figure role. I know you guys saw it as he's planning some kind of revenge on Rick, but the optimist to me says he just wants a father figure that isn't going to beat him.
I think.
What do you think about that?
I think that they executed that scene as well as you could execute it, because I think they wanted you to kind of think both could be true.
Yeah, I just have a problem with that.
Ron
that Carl scene
is just good enough that he can make that work. I'm leaning towards he's up to something, but it's hard to say that with any kind of confidence.
I don't know. To me,
getting meta,
the Carl scene before it feels like, he just got one-upped by Carl. There's nothing he can really do but tattle, and that's exactly what he goes and does. So he's got something up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Tyler W. The problem I keep having with the show that seems to be specifically affecting the Alexandrians is the writers think that the audience love hearing characters espouse melodramatic, blowhardy bullshit. I find myself cringing during scenes that are supposed to be dramatic or emotional character moments because I fear that the writers actually think these scenes are good. All these scenes just end up sucking the wind out of the sails and slowing down the episode. Nothing interesting or new is happening here, and when it does, such as the scene where the doctor gains confidence by learning to drain pus from a wound, the show dwells on it and beats you over the head spelling it out. This kind of thing hurts the show because it trains the viewer to stop paying close attention so that when the show tries to be smart or make subtle implications intended for astute viewers, those moments end up being overlooked because the show doesn't have a very good history of rewarding that kind of viewing.
It's weird because, so this is the first time in the show's history that the ratings are stagnant to down. And I've been listening to, I really love Bill Simmons.
Yeah.
And he was talking, he had all of his Grantland buddies on because, Grantland got shut down and they're out from under bars. So he's got them all on their HBO podcast as television critics, to Greenwalds. And he had the two TV critics on, and he said, I'm about to stop watching The Walking Dead because it's not fun anymore. Like, it's slow and talky, and it's like depressing, and it's like it's getting to be like The Leftovers, another show that he doesn't like watching on Sunday night because it bums him out. And I'm like, man,
sure,
it's gonna bite him in the ass if they try. Like, this is a show that's this chimera. It's clay and iron mixed together, and it's just not holding well. And you've got two distinct, maybe even three distinct audiences watching it, and they've been able to keep all of them engaged enough that they're all of them are up in arms at one time or another, but they're not simultaneously. I feel like that they're maybe getting to a point where they've got everyone up in arms, and they're going to start, between the fear of the Walking Dead, like, maybe I don't need this much zombie in my life. But then again, those two first episodes were really good.
yeah, just stick to the action.
So
stick to that stuff. I like it. Heather H says, I'm probably pointing out the obvious here, but Ron totally wants to shoot Carl. In the beginning of the episode, he's fingering a holster of some kind while looking at Carl.
His
then
knife.
He tries to butter up Rick. Yeah, she says for a knife, I think. Then he tries to butter up Rick at the wall before asking him to be taught to shoot, and Rick hands him a gun, which is a terrible idea, whether it's loaded or not. I'm just sure Ron is going to shoot Carl, and Rick will feel responsible. And what do you do with a teenager who tries to murder someone in the zombie apocalypse? I see a mid-season cliffhanger coming. So this is interesting, right? Is how many people in this family can Rick kill before the town goes, all right, enough. Like, we get it. These were bad people. They tried to do bad things and did in Pete's case.
Yeah.
But what do you do? That's a good question. What do you do with a teenager, a kid, who tries to kill somebody in the zombie apocalypse? If you're Rick, do you banish him? What does the town do about that?
I don't know.
Might be an interesting question, I think.
So I'm I don't know, I got some thoughts, but I gotta put them in the spoiler section. We're gonna have a spoiler section this week.
I've got several spoiler emails.
Okay. Some breaking news. Casting news that we just happened like 3 hours ago that we're going to talk about.
Glenn's coming back, but he's going to be a different. He's going to be.
He comes back as Carrot Top.
Rachel McAdams is coming back as Glenn. It's going to be weird.
A lot of explaining to do.
Yeah, where have you been, Glenn? Gretchen says, "Is it possible that Morgan is keeping the member of the Wolves alive to get valuable information from him about the group, where they're located, how many members, weapons, etc., to be informed on possible attacks in the future, rather than because of all life is precious?" Morgan knows the wolf is dying from a wound, and he may just keep him in the cell until he dies on his own. What do you think about that? Is he... I, after watching that episode, got the distinct impression that it was all life is precious, keeping this wolf alive, not some kind of like interrogation tactic. But Gretchen suggests the possibility that it might just be to get information out of him. The wolf in the cell at the end of last episode?
No, I get you.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to weigh this. I think, no, I don't buy that Morgan is interrogating this guy. He might end up doing it, but right now I think his motive is to pay it forward.
Okay. I think so.
Okay.
Travis, talking about Spencer at the gate here. I was wondering, did you guys notice during the scene at the food storage that someone said to Spencer something to the effect of, "Good job with the gate," in regards to the wolves attack?
Sure.
Did he leave the fucking gate open again? This was the next morning revelation, and maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly. They played it off as some kind of throwaway line, but I'm pretty sure that I'm remembering it. If so, that is unfucking believable.
No, I think he left it open the one time.
They're just reminding. They're just bringing up old shit. Yeah,
they're rubbing his face into the urine.
Yeah,
like the puppy he is.
Drew says, "I love Maggie's speech to Aaron, saying we may never know what happened to Glenn, if he lived or he died." And was wondering if that was maybe some meta commentary on the audience there. I think we talked about that during the recap. So
yeah, I think we got that.
Keep moving. Mark C says, "Ron says somebody's going to die. Next scene after getting knocked down, he's laying down in what looks like the typical chalk outline style of a dead body on the ground. I was thinking that is probably creative foreshadowing. Ron's going to die." What do you think about that? He was kind of splayed out in a strange manner, right?
I could see them doing some foreshadowing like that.
Yeah, maybe. Anthony B. This is going to be a very minor sneak peek spoiler. I don't give a shit about that stuff because whatever's officially released is officially released. Watch it or get the fuck out. But some people might care. So if you didn't watch the next week on and you don't want to know about it, skip ahead like 30 seconds.
Okay.
Anthony B says, "So I think it was kind of ridiculous that Rick just magically appeared at the gate, despite the fact that he was obviously trapped at the end of last episode. Do you think that maybe in a later episode they will show how he escaped? Do you think it's a little far-fetched to think maybe he sprayed his way out of the RV with the AK, allowing him to get a head start on the walkers? Because if you noticed, he didn't have the AK-47 with him when he got to the gate, so he could have lost it during the craziness. I think this could be the reason why there was so much pandemonium with Abraham and Sasha in the sneak peek, because maybe the gunfire caused the walkers to go nuts again, and maybe they lost Daryl and all the madness.
Man. So I think that can all be resolved within the Abraham Rosita plot line. I don't need to know what happened in 2.5 miles, etc. approximately between the RV and Alexandria. I just don't care.
Okay.
I can't imagine anything is super interesting. And if it is, like, if we do hear like a bunch of gunfire from the back and like that this half of the horde is peeling off and Daryl has to fall back with this thing to do his little shepherd and he gets lost. Yeah, that could be interesting, I guess. But like literally going back in a cold open and showing us how he got out of there, like I will see that as some almost amateurism. That's almost like showing Voltron transforming levels of delaying. Like, you know, if you only want to write 5 minutes an episode, make sure you have Voltron transforming. Get all the lions out of the volcanoes. Make sure we get full hero shots of that. Make sure that you get the green line forming the dick. When it's time to pull out the sword, you want to get 30-second rotoscoped animation of all that. That would be Dragon Ball Z level of dragging your feet if you go back to show us the 5 missing minutes of Rick's life.
It's going to be him just grunting and powering up in the driver's seat.
Yep.
And then sprinting the rest of the way home.
Yep.
Also, one more question. Why was it such a surprise that Maggie's pregnant? Didn't we already figure this out back when Glenn went to get a pregnancy test when they were still at the prison?
She hasn't been pregnant for that long.
No, she definitely hasn't.
But this is something that the people have speculated about this, I know, at least for a couple episodes. So they've had hints. Significant glances, Rick or Glenn being, hey, you can't endanger yourself, and Maggie strangely saying, yeah, you're right, rather than, this is bullshit, I'm just as good.
Fairly subtle.
So, I felt like that it's about right. This is not the kind of, his power level's over 9,000 feet dragging we were talking about before.
Okay. Sam from New York writes in about an article that's on Slate. Entitled "The Walking Dead: Rick Grimes' Dictatorship Should End." He says, I was recently reading an article that posited the opinion that Rick is an awful leader with, in my opinion, tenuous and myopic supporting events / data to support that argument. And the support was pretty much that he hid the everyone's infected information because he thought people didn't need to know, making unilateral decisions, shunning useful people in favor of people that he knew he could trust. And they argued that Michonne was the ideal leader that Deanna should have turned the reins over to. And I think they make a fairly compelling point on the other side with Michonne. Like, she, after coming out of her haze with her pets and her insanity, she has kind of been the Rick Light, right? Like, she has been the more level-headed version of Rick.
Yeah, I was going to say, you say Rick Light, like that's a pejorative thing.
I mean that in a positive way.
Yeah, you're more like
more of his
Rick
good
with
qualities,
less of his flaws. Yeah.
Yes, and more level-headed and more even-handed, I guess. Just like a little smarter.
I still think Michonne a little less is. I want to say that she's a little bit more brittle, but man, Rick's pretty brittle too. Like, we've seen him walk that fine line between madness and managerial duties this season. Yeah. So yeah, it's hard for me to say that she's more brittle than him.
She seems to be less impulsive than him too, less reactionary and stuff.
Yeah,
she seems to be able to keep her cool in these intense situations better.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says that brings me to my question: who do you guys think is the ideal leader, if not Rick? Personally, I'd be happy with Michonne, but Rick is still my ideal leader thanks to his many experiences, tempering him into the ideal zombie apocalypse leader, despite some bumps along the road.
I think they're going to eventually just fall into like a Star Trek pattern where, yeah, okay, Kirk is the leader, but you can't really separate Kirk from Spock and McCoy.
Yeah.
Like, that was the Triumvirate. That's where all the plot lines revolved around. That's where all the power flowed through the ship. And, when Kirk got out of hand, it was the other two's job to check him.
Yep.
And vice versa. So I feel like that I don't know who all the Triumvirate was. Like it kind of changes. Like right now, I feel it's definitely Rick Michonne. I'm not sure who the third leg of that is.
I feel like Daryl is somewhat of a McCoy to Rick's
kinda, but like also Abraham's there a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Glenn was definitely there. He's probably still there.
Glenn is kind of, but he's for some reason doesn't quite fit as neatly as I want him to. So I'm not sure who it was. Herschel for a long time.
Oh hell yeah!
But I'm not sure who the third triumvirate is. I'm not sure who the McCoy is.
It could be Aaron. Honestly, I think Aaron's got a good shot at being a leader now
Aaron
that his
step up in that, or even
scouting
Deanna.
opportunities are limited.
I could see Deanna being
coming back from the brink.
Like she'd be like at the Spock because.
A little more logical.
Yeah, like she's less crazy.
Yeah.
But also more rigid in her thinking. And then that would leave Michonne to be the McCoy and Rick to be the Kirk.
Okay, I like it. Don K says, as a nurse practitioner, I try to turn my medical brain off when watching The Walking Dead.
Probably for the best.
However, I have to comment on Dr. Denise. First, there is no way that any medical book says if a patient has a wound and is going into septic shock, stick a syringe in the wound. If anything, the medical book would say he needed an incision and drainage, as she abbreviates I&D, of the wound. Secondly, if this guy is going into septic shock, there's no way removing 2 cc's of pus would have immediately stabilized his heart rate. If his wound was that badly infected, he would potentially need an incision and drainage and several days of
antibiotics,
debridement.
Ooh,
I've never heard that word. That's
that's
how you know she's a doctor.
That's usually when they're like sloughing dead skin off a 3rd-degree burn. It's literally like grind, like cheese grating the meat off of you. Debridement.
Yeah, not to mention antibiotics. She says. Having ranted about the medical inaccuracies, I will admit I like the character and her development. Please consider this email my application for official Bald Move medical advisor. I'm certified in both family practice and oncology. I know you already have a dentist, and I would be a great addition. I think you got it by de facto.
Yes,
like you're the de facto.
Yes, maybe next election someone
advisor.
can run against you, but for right now,
yep.
You know,
so Don K, we're gonna need a name for her.
You're at least as good as an alcoholic vet or combat medic.
Sure.
We'll see about how this psychologist, psychiatrist, failed surgical med student is going to do, but you're right up there with them.
We'll see right now. We'll see right now at this next email. Okay. Kevin writes in, says, I'm not a doctor, but in high school, I had a cyst on my tailbone and a horrible fever and cold chills. I went to the doctor and he squeezed the pus out, and to this day, I'm still amazed how quickly my symptoms improved. It was instantaneous. So I could see the injured guy's vitals improving that fast. Now, I don't know who to believe here. You got the guy with the experience with the cyst.
Well, it's an infected ass. Like
that's the thing.
How bad can your ass get infected? It's a shithole, literally. We're talking about versus a man's leg, you know, like.
So that's the thing. I think in an infected wound is probably very different. Like an infection that spreads through your body is going to have a bigger effect than probably a cyst. I don't even really know what a cyst is, honestly. It's some horrible growth that you don't want.
It's a benign tumor, right?
I don't know. I literally have no idea.
It's like something goes haywire in your body, and your body's like, "Oh fuck, this ain't right. This isn't supposed to be doing that. Let's form a sack around it and pretend." Okay, it's like your body's a hoarder. Like if it sees something doesn't like it, just like ties a trash bag around it and kind of puts it out of the way.
But then the cats eventually get at it, and
that
opens up
eventually, if your body hoards too much, you die.
Yeah.
Or if the trash starts overflowing, then you got cancer, and then it's too late for the people to come and make you throw stuff away.
I think with that particular injury, though, it might be more dangerous than a cyst.
Sure.
More involved.
Sure.
Anyway, Alexis says, what have the Alexandrian natives been eating? The average size is so ridiculous this far into rationing, and no chance of them out-waddling any walkers. Yeah, we talked about that.
It'd be funny if they had like Walmart-style scooters.
Oh, God.
At the pantry, so that they're literally like, you know, I'm not going to watch my family starve. I remind you that I am, by anyone's measure, fat. So
okay.
This is not me body shaming. This is me just saying, you're not hungry.
You got
I see you. You're lying. You're being a dick.
All right. Teresa has an email that I had to chop a little bit out of, but hopefully she got her points across. This week's episode was ridiculous. As a friend of mine stated, it's like they got the end of a film and said, shit, we only made 7 episodes, and wrote a shitty 10-minute script just to scrounge up whoever was still on the lot. A couple of things really bothered me. Number one, Alexandrians. Their idiocracy.
Yes.
Their idiocy is comical, but not in an enjoyable way. They have resigned themselves to die. They can't ration because they want their last few days to be filled with canned beans instead of canned celery soup. Because there are walkers outside of their walls. P.S. There have been walkers there the entire time. That's true. They really didn't. Like, they could go out and scrounge a little bit, but what's Aaron going to bring back in his backpack?
Yeah.
A bunch of baby food and applesauce?
Yeah.
Number 2.
Some Kodak black and white film.
Well, he doesn't even bring that shit back. He just leaves it out there for people to find. Number 2, why do we have an entire episode dedicated to Alexandrians? They just kind of suck at life. They sure as shit can't carry an episode with their character selves. Ugh, can we get back to the episodes with our beloved badasses? Also, kind of a tangent, and I say this as an unapologetic Daryl Beth shipper. That's a fine name, Beryl.
Yeah.
But if you're going to kill off Beth,
better than death.
You better have something more interesting to do with Daryl afterwards and turn him into a depressed, sad asshat who doesn't do anything of value. What do you think about that? Like, we talked a little bit about this last episode, but Daryl hasn't done much of anything in a while.
And I thought, like, some people were creeped out by his relationship with, Beth, because I saw Beth as more towards, like, Emily Kinney's age than the high school doodlebug. I'm not sure exactly how old she's supposed to be, but I'm like, okay, whatever. It's a zombie apocalypse. Daryl's kind of a damaged man-child anyway. I thought that was kind of an interesting coupling, and they got some interesting stuff out of Daryl. Same way when you pair Daryl with Carol.
Peril
Daryl with Carol. That's good too. I'm kind of I was reading a thread in Reddit where I assume they're talking about us, but they're like, this one podcast was just complaining about them never doing anything with Daryl. It's like, Daryl's been a major character and he needs to take a back. And I'm like, there's shows with way bigger casts that keep the story moving for everybody much better than this thing does. So I don't really want to hear that. Yes, they are underserving Daryl now, and I wonder to what end. Yeah,
and so to go back to her.
By the way, if you miss Emily Kinney, she just appeared on this week's episode of The Nick. I don't know if it's going to be an expanded role, but it's like just like a little introductory scene. And
okay,
yeah, I was like, wait a second, that's Doodlebug.
Nice. So to go back to her point about the Alexandrians and why we have an entire episode built around them, they have killed off a lot of our main characters, and I have a feeling that this season they're probably going to kill off several more of them. I think they're doing this to replenish the stock of characters that you give a shit about.
Yeah, but they're not doing a very good job of that. They keep on who are...
But that's why they keep showing the Alexandrians, regardless of whether they're pulling it off or not.
Yeah, because it's cheap heat, because, like, well, we've seen them for, like, 3 episodes. But they're all faceless, man, because they're all just Nicholas's or Aiden's.
I mean, they've got Aaron, they've got Jesse, and they've got
the
Denise.
hero Alexandrians. Those are the ones, and then everybody else is kind of faceless mooks that I assume are going to be dead.
Yeah, probably.
Heath is another one. Like, clearly, when we were introduced to him, like, this guy is important. So,
DC in California, has an olfactory fixation here. Talking about the stink that should be around everything here. For example, in the latest episode, Maggie and Aaron go down to this sewer drain. When they lift the manhole cover, no reaction. Should at least be a little bit of a stink. Like, he says all they need to do is cover their mouths and noses, right? And you kind of know.
But why? You guys are assuming it's a shit sewer. I think it's a storm drain, which I don't know would stink.
Well, when they go down in there
Well, you got rotting zombies
walkers,
and all that stuff.
So probably pretty smelly.
But, like, that's the other thing. Like, in my pool cleaning experience, it only really stinks when you go and poke around and you break the crust,
Sure, yeah.
So it's like some of that stuff can get an equilibrium, and then, like, you dislodge a ladder, and then, holy shit, what's this smell?
What he says, he gives a couple examples, but one more here to close it out. When the crew stumbles into Alexandria for the first time, not one single resident mentions or reacts to how smelly Rick and his crew must be. These people have been living out of Pottery Barn catalog, and they invite Daryl over for spaghetti with his outside world shit clothes on.
No, I think
no one throws up or acts disgusted.
I think Aaron and his boyfriend would be cool that way.
They would just not mention it. They would realize, but just
because they've been out in the muck. They go out and they know what each other smells like after you've been away from hot water for a while. So I feel like that they would. But you're right. A lot of these motherfuckers would be pretty judgy about the personal BO.
Yeah. With their fancy showers and shit.
Yeah, and they haven't shied away from showing us what a bunch of babies these people are, so I'm kind of surprised there wasn't any. Oh my god, look at this girl. She's got the fucking leathered vest. Who does she think she is? Brown leather? That's like fall, totally autumn. And yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
He has a PS on his email. When Rick starts making out with Jesse at the end of the episode, what do you think his breath smelled like? If this were real, she would have thrown up. Then again, this is a woman who's making out with a man who just murdered her husband, right? Yeah, she did. She has no senses whatsoever.
But no, wait. Rick has been taking care of himself.
Kind
Since
of.
he got in Alexandria.
I mean, he's dirty and disgusting and bloody. And
he's going to make a house call on Jesse, and he's not going to, like, switch around some Listerine or gargle or eat a stick of gum.
I don't know.
Come on. I feel like he's
give Rick more
making a gentleman call.
Yeah, okay. Maybe, yeah. All right, let's move on to Jay. So Aaron suggested Maggie name their baby either Aaron or Aaron for her little bundle of joy. How about the name Aaron? It's pretty close, too. Yeah, what do you think about that?
Unisex, I like it. You can go with the E-Ren or the Aaron.
Joe M. says, this episode reminded me why I started watching the show 6 years ago and why I continue watching the show now. The practical effects from Nicotero Gang for those sewer zombies were fantastic.
Yep, no argument.
Cinema quality, unlike anything I've seen. It scared the shit out of me while grossing me out at the same time.
Yep, it's been a long time since I've had that reaction to a zombie. But that was really fucking gross.
I wanted to include that for a little positivity here.
Yep.
Mark says, good Lord, this is the most boring episode of The Walking Dead in the series. Maybe of television all time. Come on, Mark. Come on. Could there be any postulating about the world now? Any more postulating about the world now?
You're right. I mean, it's impossible to defend the amount of tedious. That's how it is in here or out there. I'm not even sure what we're talking about anymore. Yeah, bullshit. I'm surprised that they can I wonder if they have a name for that, like the Star Trek writers, hey, we need Michael Okuda in here. We need to come up with some technobabble, and he needs to recite something read in Scientific American last month. I wonder if they have we need the you don't know speech. Who's good at writing you don't know speech? Because they've got to. They've done it so many times. Like, is it just copy and paste at this point? They just changed some pronouns.
It must be, yeah.
And
they changed the character name at the beginning.
Names, yeah. Setting, like crickets chirp, or water splashes, or zombies moan.
Exterior, Alexandria Courtyard.
Midnight.
Change that to interior Michonne's house. I don't know.
And it's
Jesse's house. Whatever.
I honestly don't know how they can do it with a straight face, unless they think unless this is like really ironic.
Come on, man. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to waste my time with that shit. I don't need to watch your ironic trolling of 17 million people. Come on.
It'd probably be really fun though.
I imagine so. But it's a huge dick move if you're on the wrong side of it. Laura in Atlanta says, I really don't see the point in a Maggie pregnancy. Maggie used to be the most badass chick on the show, second only to Michonne. Even before the pregnancy, she was becoming pretty useless as a character, but with the baby, it seems they are writing her into even more of a corner. We've already seen the dangers of delivery with Judas, so where does this go? Maggie dies the same way Lori does, and the baby survives? Maggie and the baby survive? Maggie loses the baby? Either way, we are left with either another baby weighing down the group or more moping Maggie. Thoughts?
Yeah, we already have one. I mean, we're slowly getting closer and closer to zombie Full House. You got Uncle Daryl, and you got Uncle Glenn, and you got Uncle Rick, and
you're gonna have Mary Kate and Ashley.
Yeah, you already got Mary. Yeah, well,
Mary Kate and Aaron. To be
she's
fair,
gonna be Deej, and then we got the next generation who'll be Stephanie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Mary Kate and Ashley a couple seasons from now.
Yeah,
there are a couple interesting things. Like, yes, she was a badass. She's this woman of action. And, like, we're taught in modern society to value that because we get so few of it. And we're living in a world where women have all these possibilities. Mm-hmm. But, bringing life into the world is ultimately the most important job there is. And I wonder, is it transgressive to say that you now have this very important job and the community needs to look out for you, because if we're going to survive this thinking the longest term, we need people like you. Mm-hmm. The men can't do it. Aaron and his boyfriend are no use. Tara and Denise aren't going to be helping us out. We need you, Maggie, to take one for the team and to hang up the badasses and make some kids. That feels really regressive.
I mean, that's obviously not why she did it,
but
why she got pregnant.
You think about how the world got to be where it is, and it's not because it's just like crazy to do things this way. It's just that now we have the benefit that we can do things differently. and we should, and we can be more productive as society by harnessing this other half of the population that we've previously just used as incubators and chattel. But I think it's if
the population was decimated a few times over, maybe priorities shift again.
That's what I'm saying. But I wonder if there's a way to do that without, like, if that would be an interesting thing to explore. Like, can you go back to the Stone Age with still progressive values, and how would that work? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think that would be an interesting thing for the show to explore. I doubt they do, because, like, if it's just another thing to endanger for us to be, because that's the reason I didn't like Judith surviving, because every time they dangle her and make her jingle jangle, it gets my heart rate going, because it's a purely instinctual thing.
Haven't done that in a while. So
they haven't done it in a while, but now they got a pregnant woman, and if all goes well, a baby.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm scared.
Devin H has some thoughts on that and what it might be for. Says the alternative is they could pull a switcheroo on us, revealing that Glenn is alive and force him to endure Maggie and his unborn child's death at some point in the near future. On that note, what would happen to a miscarried pregnancy in the zombie apocalypse with The Walking Dead rules? Would the child become a mini zombie that eats the mother from the inside, killing her and turning into a walker as well? I love that.
I'm gonna let you and Jim.
That's my favorite.
I'm gonna let you and Jim take over the podcast for a minute, because this does this makes me roll my eyes so hard.
That's what I want to see. I want to see a miscarriage that results in a fetus ripping itself free from the mother in zombie form.
How would it do it?
It doesn't have
a newborn
teeth.
has no has like
it has no clawing apparatus,
cellophane toenails and fingernails, and no teeth.
Yeah,
like, and I think there's some mothers that would swear to God in the third trimester their child did try to rip itself out of them. Like, I've seen the.
What if it were actually trying to?
I just think it would just be like a baby never stops kicking, but it's not going to be fatal. It might make you pee yourself a couple times.
Sure.
But, like, it's got literally, like, stop it.
It's
it.
really difficult, to rip out of a human abdomen. I
would think so. Yeah. Now, again, maybe there's a doctor saying, actually, there's this one case where a fetus got rabies and grew canines and Wolverine claws. And
no, for sure. Don can write in and tell us how realistic that would be.
Like, I would honestly think a baby turning zombie and getting too raucous in there, the worst would happen is a miscarriage. Yeah. Which you've got a wriggling dead zombie baby coming out of you, which, hey, does not sound like fun and is creepy, but actually that'd be
what
more.
If, what if they were like
myself.
What if
That's
they were like,
way creepier than ripping.
The mother's dead and the baby's still moving around. We got to get in there and get it out. You know, it's going to die if we don't. Oh, turns out when we open her up, it's already dead, and it comes out as a creepy zombie baby.
So here's the fucked up thing about that situation: a stillborn zombie baby's behavior would probably be virtually indistinguishable from a real live infant's newborn's behavior.
Except, what
would that do to the mother?
Its skull would be the same consistency as a walker.
Yeah, like it's going to never recover from its discoloration, and it's going to, but like that would be a really fucked up thing for a mother to go through.
Yes, it totally would, and I hope we see it. He has a follow-on question. Or
yeah,
he
that's
or
more
she,
interesting
I'm not
than
sure.
ripping out of the abdomen. I've creeped myself out.
I'm not sure with the spelling of this name, if it's a he or she, Devin. But follow-on question here. Question for you guys. Do you think they're setting us up for a time jump, either at the end of this half season or the end of the season proper? Now that we have confirmation that Maggie is pregnant, I think they have to pull a time skip on us at some point in order to skip ahead to that part of the story. If they don't skip ahead, if they continue with the normal pace, Maggie will be pregnant for the next 3 to 4 seasons. And as you pointed out, Aaron, skipping ahead would also help out Chandler Riggs. Think there's any chance of that?
I think they inevitably will do a time skip for those reasons eventually, but I don't think it's going to be this season or maybe even next.
Okay. Fair enough.
But you're right. I mean, Chandler's playing too old for what he is. If they could get a point where they could skip 2 or 3 years, you know, they could age him. He'd be aged appropriately, and that would be a whole another chapter to his character.
Yeah. Final email, and it's kind of a indulgence here. So get ready for this. Scott V says, this is for last week's episode, but my wife had a prediction about Glenn that I found too amusing not to share. So we were watching the Morgathon episode. I shake my fist into the heavens in frustration and ask, why are they showing this episode now? My wife says the answer's obvious. They have to set up the character that will save Glenn. Imagine Glenn under Dickless, walkers tearing Dickless apart. How can Glenn escape? All of a sudden you hear, bah, it's Tabitha the goat. The walkers go for her. Glenn slips out under the dumpster. She sacrifices her life for Glenn. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tabitha was killed. Was she? We figured that was her mate who untied her while doing so was killed, and Tabitha got away. Sounds goofy, but this theory coming true is about the only way I'll forgive this show for this bullshit trolling. How about you guys? Tabitha, the goat's
You're in the
lure.
wrong show for unlimited goats. You should try Leftovers for all your goat-based entertainment
no shit.
needs.
Goats for days over there.
Yeah, you got enough goats for like them to have a whole civilization.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think the Morgan was I didn't think the Morgan was the worst thing.
I didn't expect you to take this email, give this a consideration and actually an answer.
Oh, well, sorry.
All right.
I sometimes can't detect irony if I'm being asked an earnest question. But yeah, no.
Okay.
I should have laughed. Can we
should.
edit just here? Just put an edit mod.
No, there's no edit there. Now you look even sillier.
Good one. All right. Next email.
That's it. That's all we got.
Got spoiler section.
Save the funniest for last. Yeah, we do have a spoiler section. So if you want to send in more emails and really fill my inbox, I mean, I spent 2.5 hours this morning going over these stupid emails. Didn't get a chance to rewatch Leftovers. I'm gonna have to do that after the podcast.
I think you might be harshing the buzz with all this stupid emails, vicious.
But I'm
complaints.
inviting you to send all of your flood. Just cover me in emails like Walker's on top of Glenn. Walking Dead at baldmove.com.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because I've been the feed bag workhorse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the pain you're going through. It's I feel like the grandparent that's visiting the new parent is like, having some problems, son. Got some shit on your fingers, did you? Oh, getting pissed in the face. Yeah, I know what that's like.
Nice.
I'm gonna take off now because fuck this shit. Yeah. So we got spoilers. Watching Dead at baldmove.com, forums.baldmove.com if you want to make Jim's life worth living.
Bald Move on Facebook and Twitter, all that good stuff.
Yep.
We'll be back with the live watch next week and,
Instant
instant cast right after the show. And if you don't want to stick around for spoilers, check out during the music. If you do, we'll see you then. Until then, I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron. See ya.
And we're back with the spoiler section. Before I get into email spoilers, do you have something you want to talk about? I have one thing that I wanted to mention.
So the Hollywood Reporter, I think, is the one that broke this about 3 hours. Not quite.
Okay, you're gonna stomp all over Chris and Edwin's emails here.
Oh, because this just happened this morning.
Yeah.
On November. Wait. Yeah, this morning, November 10th. Walking Dead cast major comics villain Negan, whatever.
Negan, you got it.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan has been tapped to take on the iconic role of Negan, the F-bomb dropping dastardly character from Robert Kirkman's cinematic series, The Hollywood Reporter has learned. If you don't know this guy, the role I immediately think of him is the comedian on The Watchmen.
Hell yeah.
And as soon as I saw this guy's face, that's my reaction. Like, wow, out of all the people I thought to play Negan, this might be the most perfect. He's got the physicality, he's got the face, he's got the ability to play. Like, we've already seen him play one psycho with a twisted sense of humor.
Yeah.
I am super excited.
Like, if he just plays this how he played the comedian, I'd be totally fine with it.
Yeah, and he wasn't like they're going to have to certainly like. My idea was you cast Don Draper, John Hamm as a super straight-laced Negan that's almost like a religious fanatic that never swears. It's like he's brutal and he's violent, but like the one thing he can't abide is a potty mouth. That would have been a funny nod to the character. But maybe you just go and you do a whole I'll be donkey slapped and I'll be
donkey licked.
I'll
Thank you very much.
I'll be jackass stretched or I'll have my sphincter rip if I'm
not sure you can even do those themes.
You can't?
Like, the language is not the only concern here, yeah.
Well, you get donkeys with rectums and things rip.
I'll have my rectum ripped is not a slogan that you can really put on the front of a DVD cover.
But the FCC stays off your back. If you don't drop the F word and the C bomb, then you're pretty good. I don't know.
I'll be rectum ripped.
So I guess they can just do that kind of weird fireflying, balderdashing.
Yeah.
But I think this
or
casting,
battle starring.
I think this casting is great. I got on the Reddit real quick because this just broke, and I could see if anybody had a contrary, but it seemed everyone was super interested in it. I heard that there was other people, Timothy Oliphant, which would have been an interesting choice.
Yep.
Matt Dillon, Garrett Dillahunt, which was on last season of Justified, would have been a fine choice as well. But I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
It's a great choice. I saw him also as Judah Botwin in Weeds, Nancy's dead husband. Mm-hmm. So he's got a lot of range to him. He can play this really nice guy.
They have been crushing the casting.
A fucking dark guy too.
They have been crushing the casting.
Yeah.
Abraham, Rosita, Eugene, Heath, Denise. Now, when they need someone iconic from the comics to cast, they're doing a pretty fucking good job at it.
Sure.
So, yeah.
George S. has a comment about Carl and his eye.
Okay, because I got that to talk about too.
Okay, me too. If they decide to shoot Carl again, as they do in the comics, I think it would be ultra effective if it was Ron who shoots Carl after learning how to shoot from Rick. The Walking Dead loves its tragic coincidences, and it would fit in with what his dad tried to do last season. How would you two react if Rick's gun lesson ultimately cost Carl and I?
Awesome.
Yeah, that's probably the best outcome of this whole thing.
Because in the comics, it's essentially Douglas Monroe as he's getting ripped apart by zombies, being careless with his gun, like you do when you're getting ripped apart by zombies, and accidentally shooting his eye out, Christmas Story style. I think Ron doing it deliberately would be awesome, and it's another way. So there's this one storyline that they kind of dodged when they had the serial killer child thing, because there was a storyline from the comics where a child kills another child, and the adults are like, "What do we do? What do we do? Oh my god, what are we going to do?" And while they're
the thing
debating,
we talked about in the main cast, right?
Yeah,
and you were like, "I got spoiler info."
Yeah, so Carl took it upon himself to murder the child because he's like, "Well, it's my job. None of you guys could do it."
Yeah,
it'd be cool if this is, and I mean, I'm getting a little ahead of myself because Kirkman remixes don't usually go this way. This would be the best example if they save that, but now it's a little bit of eye for eye. You hurt Carl, and there's this tension between you and Enid, and is he going to be the adults don't know what to do, and he's a minor, and everybody's squeamish, and Carl steps up and does it, but it's not as that's really interesting. I think that would be cool, and it'd be a way to remix those kind of dangling plots in an interesting way.
Yeah, and so I guess that kind of, so instead if Carl gets his eye shot out, right, and there's this eye for an eye question, what do we do with Ron? He shot Carl's eye out on purpose.
Yeah.
And then Carl steps in and murders him. I mean, you can't really complain to Carl too much, right? The dude shot my eye out. What do you want? He tried to kill me.
Yeah.
So I killed him.
Yeah, if it had been an adult, Rick would have no problem blowing his head off.
Yeah.
So...
And then you could even set that against, you were willing to banish Ron, but not your own son when he goes off and kills somebody. And they could set that whole thing in motion again. I don't know if I want him to.
That'd be tired because Carl's justified.
We view Carl as justified, sure, but I could see how...
Fuck all those out. I'm tired of... No, Alexanders go to hell.
All right, nobody but Rick can have any valid criticisms of the morality.
No, I can see Jesse being all fucked up and confused.
What if Daryl brings it up? It's like, Rick, you weren't going to banish Ron, but you're not going to banish your own kid? What the fuck?
Daryl's not. Why would he banish Carl?
Hot bowl of bullshit.
Why would he banish Carl? This guy tried to kill him, and Carl killed him back.
Yeah. The guy tried to kill him, and Rick was ready to banish him, but Carl kills the guy, and he's fine.
I don't know. To me, they're two different moral acts.
Sure.
Acts.
All right. Well, that's all I got for spoilers.
The other thing I want to talk about, because people keep asking about this time skip, and I don't know if they're makey, clever comic fans, or if they're just people speculating because this makes a lot of sense. But, as I think we talked about before, they do, in fact, after they have the Negan All-Out War storyline, they skip a few years ahead.
Yeah.
So, I think this time skip is... I think it seems like we're heading down a road where... Negan's introduced either at the end of this season.
I've heard a rumor that he's going to come, end of season 6.
So is that 6A?
Not the half season, no.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you got to get to Jesus and stuff first,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, you're right. It's there's a universe where they could have not fucked around with all this time shit and told a nice, concise, well-paced, moving story.
Yeah.
That ship has sailed.
Let's kill ourselves in that universe and take over there.
Negan at the end of 6B, all-out war, essentially. Well, you'd have probably this kind of weird stalemate and Rick kind of rolling over plot line for 7A, and then you'd have all-out war for 7B, and then you have a time skip of 2 years on the off-season coming back to Season 8, where you got Little House on the Alexandria, and they're, showing a little bit more mastery of beginning civilizations. But I was also wondering,
alfalfa for days.
with Deanna city planning, I wonder if there was a little nod to that storyline, because in the comics they meet these other settlements, the Hilltop and the Kingdom, and they establish trade. And I thought one of the things she wrote in her little crazy Carrie Matheson style city planning document was trade. And there's like medicine. And but who is she trading with? So does the Alexandrians know that there's other settlements that they just have kind of kept a wide berth of? It'd be strange if they knew about that and we haven't found out about it yet. Or is Deanna saying we need to beef up the Aaron and Daryl pathfinding missions to find other pockets of humanity so we can set up these things? Mm-hmm. And it could have just been a nod to the comics fans that, like, hey, yeah, we know we've read the stories too, and we know where we're going. Wink. I don't know.
Okay.
That's my analysis of it.
Anything else?
No, I think we're ready to put this one for bed for another week.
Yeah, sounds good. That's it, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye-bye.